no kre ye no nsia no fidua mu ha de memene da ye memene no anya abo sei ensam a edi aso tie eno ene ye nsa ntwerofo anya adagye nante ho no kre mu Sompa penti wo mo abo no ama sabufo nso asane nyina ho na eba aso mu a etesa takra abusua ani so no fasa na ahwehwe enti ye live for Facebook no so Sompa 106.5Fm Accra join ye ho oba no wahye na unua nso anya bi ebasa wa anya pesemen kumitie ana pesemen kumehwe Leicester Company Limited won me ya toothpaste ene ne bro so no wo mo nekuta ye mo nwumre yi ya ye somwo nya bi na fadi ho dwuma time heba mixture oba part time no Dr. Tafirija na yeye ene ne HH no wodi kuta ye mu malaria do tatahwe no ena afi HH no ye immune booster abusua eno sa no uronnom we na banche de wonum a wote ne sadabeko na sankwa na enya de na etise dudo dia de be mana ye de ne ye promasidofo wo mo nsa no boafo efre ne se onga ena ebo ama me ema nanim ebanyam ewo wo mo ebetena pono ho adidi nyina wo mo tachere maso just hot kinky eno na me se wo tena ho a wonu beba ho so na obete apam just kinky eye hot na makwa akwaje ton enti kan ho fa okoma na fatre Ghana cedis kokenkan na febra wachewo na maye ofro yayi no fabra beton jesom fa so pefo wonom wodome commercial bank na chi ho ape na photo ni ye ofa RSYD Novigi studio malama basi kokroko street ho wono na wafono na totom ayesa de na ntwa afi amango kra wotime hyehyɛw pa twama efele fine ama o yeso wodefo bi wakayen ho midimafo aba center Dr. Tam da so eda no wode time ato yen so enti ye free he ye live e 93.1 asantimamu Kumasi ehwa dabraka ayiko 100.9 korona so de nam e wo asantimamu ho a wo ma wo France abrochimamu Paris nyina wo mo Jesus sase bon na e kase ebo papa enu adamfo pa radio e wo ahenkro ho 101.1 takwa no enya samketwa e wo ne nsu ayim 103.3 takra de Sompa 98.9 yebuna ahenkro sunyaye Alhaji be kwa na abro sanum ena afi 101.3 e wo doma ahenkro ho an ye wo doma FM wo ho e 100.7 aja usu be ma ne dom wo no mafade atom a e kwa kosi amampredi ase no ho a 106.1 Bron champion do akwa e tachiman no ena afi 90.7 wo mo won kura ansan fa kana e so ban radio wo no mafa na live e o kaneshi edwom ho www.sompaonline.com ensemi nyina yewura atabo atemperence owo ahene ne ahema wa pia de akwa kogu ho okwa wonsa beka bi enya bi ahwe na wonya bi akenkan sada na Sompa FM live ene YouTube ho ena me wofa kwa kudo nyina se wo Holland ho na wotie di free na fe wo baga na nso de a Sompa 90.7 anyumre nsema ye de ba de obeti bi ne se
wahema ya owo mankasimu nkwanta wa bompanifo bi abaso na wonkyiremu
Yebeko Brekum West na empanifo kyeremu se agenda 111 hospitals yibia aka nwuram no contractor ni a wanemo de ma no wakansem bi afa ho
ene West hwa na fetenta wo ehon so na wo mo se wo mukro ntini wo no matunade so nanso abusu pani aba ba kyeremu se nokre bi anim wodaso di ahene
ye wiye ne sape ye bewuram wo na awotwe mu efri na no dwoda di ba besinrafie ensemu a edi atwaguo e wo man Ghana mu Ghana de no na do so pa bro ka tia ho nwi nanso yasa so bi no mu ho ya yasan esi ukoso e de amawo ni tuduru sa e ba wuram ni e de ho nkomo nyina e de amawo enianom ne ya baasa mimidin wadoma kuma chia me Obrempong nana kwaku ampoma minimini aba
abena badu adepa kofi enafi
triple A Ejapia Apam dada Alhaji Abubare
afei yanshansam na se emfa emawo na yakwashase e de afri emfimfim mantamu baabi a kwakwa dema wototo ya mane no e de fri no mankasim kwanta e ho no wagina yi na ohema ya owon potam ho na ya nya kwan ya otoso mienu wono ana efri se yedi bro nyampo ewie ye e de ba nana awedi no se oh there be nempotam ho no ya wono mu a enyankafo ho e na afi nso no wono mu agya kunafo wo mu nibie na wo mu kunu no so wo agya wo mama no mpo asem no wo kran wo mu nyina wo mpatam ho a aso ye na wo ye omadoye eno nti ene nipa be sa apem a wo mpatam ho no wo mu nyina ne pa kama ama mu nyina anya bi ama in fact wa chama so obia so eno ena enyo no nko a woni mpanimfo a wo Calf University wo mu na kabo mu a wo mu kwaya sa adoye edema akunafo ne mabrofo e wo mpatam ho na yes ha do ye nyina wie ye no na kwaku de madi nachi e wa no se kwaku bra na menka asem bi na menfa nkire mo na woni kwaku bo nkomo no kwaku nya abotre e chichire nsem ne bebre e digu apaso a wo tu bi ma ne yense
bedi akonwampie sana bidi kaka say me brother fifi e mo so nana wo se wuti me boa e kwafo ni nyanka wo ku ye so mu erade atum e koso e mwa tanko for the boy nyina aka ho magidi a ye de koso na masere nyame said the kai de bre e we ni so say benya adwuma ama ye manfo aye empuntu be ba ye tuoma ama won a wo ha woni bibi ye no nya bibi aye ka na adwuma titiro kase bia ne ha e ka afuom dwuma na wo ye ye bon pai se nyame ma enam ebi no so na pompe na akase mra na obia enya bibi kai kase pa eno
wei aye nana ya anya kwa ya otoso mienu wono ya hema ya wowo mankasi mu nkwanta na wakasa wie ye no na nkampani se pani dwade wie a na nsu asa na nso pani a wono ye pro vice chancellor ya oda Calf University ano ayo ruaire Professor Teresa Edusepiasa Edu wono so de kakra ka hono chese no kure na oba ye na de nsem bebre ato wono anim wono so ati wode kwa akoto chancellor na nkasa any vice chancellor no wode kwato wom nyina anim na wonim se wambaji atum na mankasi mu nkwanta nso iyedie ne bia bra wom aboboa no
Omaka chemi de na yakubira enyuma na ade ba ko a eye chancellor eye na ho a ene sa bruni na obenya bi na ode aboa ehiafo ama omonso enya certificate dachi efise menene nyina ye wo botaye bi se ohia doso ewe abusia bi mokra na sabako etumi eco school enya certificate otumi echange abusia ne nyina enunti aya na ye ya kwa say ye be sa moa enti yesi de okotoma efe no onchiri so de bo ya shat ya scholarship me ya mani promise obi die enunti mi chidi se ye de kwantamai eye me so aha na me fi e ka ho na ye nsa ehwi enunti ya ji atum pepepe
wei aye pro vice chancellor ya oda Calf University ano Professor Owuraire Teresa Edusepiasa Edu wo wie yepe na wonu mu a wo munya sa ayede eso mfaso no wo mu so de kakra to kwakwa de manim sei
o hye na no bo adum na ne hema enianu a wo be hye mu ho nyara wo fi imiamia wo be biara o yankopon tu wonkom we adwuma yen kwaso we adwuma ntumpo nyame hye no mfa kwatente over me walk away Yesu Kristo dirimu ya ana ya ziti na mbe ya chiden ya nkam makache ya minsham ya munya makasi antu memprati egmedia obe biara ya nkoso
na nompa eboni de nyame ombo hon na ntu honkom omo honkwatintin ne de nyina wonye bi no fo mobo anya mu ekwafu nyame ho adom nyina mu bi se Yesu di amen
enya ho nyame onya ho adom no wonhyira hon na afibia wanya bi wazamo na wonso wotime hyira hon na bibe atuma aye fine wei ye wonom a enya mfaso ewo ayede ya nana ya nyakwa ya otoso mienu wone Calf University wone kabo mu eyeye edema mankasi mu nkwanta no womo so ade kire ya womo ani so womo kire de kire kwakwa de ma no ebi no atie
Abusia Yeremu ewo Brekum West na empanifo abo amani akire mu se agenda 111 sa project yi o mampani dada na abraso ya wo hyase sebio wanum tumi ye fana na bi nso wo hwanum a akakra ansa na wanum atimi awie na opie mu ewo Brekum West ya One mu kyerem said ye wo mo ehya ase no last year nyina na agya na adwuma no egusun kakran na opani a one mo de contract no ema no engineer Edwin Kwadwo Afari wono na opani a woda Universal Hospital Group no ano na empanimfo kyeremu say said ye adwuma no wonom ehya ase a akọ ato ne bro wo hwe wo hamu nchichemu a wonom ya wie abupan bese aduonum bese 50% entinkaka kuma bi nanso no said ye eka ho na empanimfo afei na ani aba ho a wase wonom sanso eye ne yenti said ye eya aban sese ya wote so wone ne empanimfo esie eni wamu kyeremu se eye brekum west agenda 111 no eka maako nkunu bi hu amaye du ya da wanum akoma so pa num na engineer Kwadwo Edwin kyeremu say adehia wanum ewo brekum west moda ene ehiri bababa mpaye mumma bi pa sede aban na niku sa eyadwumade ne ho no wanya ne ntam na sikamra ntam bibia mra ntam no wamunwe ntam
aban bia aban fufu bia ba oye forensic audit na wahwe bia chesi fie bia no agenda 111 Brekum West District. In fact, Nyame boy kwa muni the way assassin sansem pejai ama in fact yenya assassin no kwa anajinje ne pay for adaroma na ne atene se adwuma no edoso yi ana esonso ana hono so adwuma no na edi pa Nyame no kura ni atakwa na yebekọ hono mata yebenya asase na nkata yebe yesu adwuma no ejese enye adwuma keto ana ya so far hospital na nkata no into sectors your clinicals your administration your accommodation your mosques so far all the blocks no yetimi ayi ni wa un say ka in terms of percentage I just say almost about 50 or 55%. Na one abandana MPP and na yehwajuma na abano efisu no in fact my breaki kakra this is say yina hwe ni say nyame pa abroyi poma okwema bia ombesa to aso but abana declare say obey 10 so far obey 10 you know obana obey percentage a wadu na say to aso na me no kura bia na jinjina akoka ona ya to aso.
Enu achi no ana engineer Edwin Kwadwo Afari ekire ni nsemu bi on say sede aban bia afiri so na se wofoforo eba pe wanom ehyasia eye hwehwemu ene audit mu audit wanom hwehwe bibia mu na nunti ana wamo eja to ho kakra na so nko no ko ade se ankoye se ebia adehye bi ena eprepre bibi ho a ena nka enkoye se audit na mpanimfo ababe audit niema enka sabre nka 55% awoka kura no nka abrosa
aban bia aban fufu bia ba oye forensic audit na wahwe bia chesi fie bia ye de premier on intendise no nyina wa aban ho yentiminka ho asem bibre atisa aban bit ba kase ise no ebia allocation ye budget allocation ye ni intinu mumba na mumbeto aso na ye adwuma na aban sisa ba ye trend nyina aban adwuma ise ye trend se aban kase ye nya adwuma ye empire and necessary in Gusunabo say Yamembe na Abewa Ayipuma Quen ye can say Abia Babis to Juman say Juman there are buying to me your say Timpa when I say almost if you almost so Aban yes say proud to that being in a mobile saying Yamapon Babua na Abewa Puma Qamuna Abaya Juman.
Enti no na nabrewa yebu nkotodwe esra oni die mu ampaye ne die yebo na wonso watie yen ni wayi poma no wakwan mu na mpanimfo atumi aye adwuma no acomplete ne fine wine e de ama de hia wonom ewo brekum west abato no empesua so engineer Edwin Kwadwo Afari wono ne pani a woda Universal Hospital Group no ano wono ana agenda 111 brekum west de no yade ahya nensa ene woni amani boni amansan so makrofo edi mu nkomo ayede asomowi
ene sade ade na ye no yakokata so a empire ne yebebo fasting nyina aka ho sade be na ebetimi aye adwuma na ene brekum west ya wokan yi ahenkro ne yegenegene wotra agenegena fatanta na to aso no babia na refugees camp no wono eho ana womode atodwa se kronti hina wote agwa so na obenkran womatu nade so na saasemi aye hu enenam na mpani se de amo ne danta no won nim ba bia ne to kwada abusu pani akronti abusu shibusua no won etua no na Kofi Nsia opani Kofi Nsia na ebe chese no kure bia nim so onam na ate sa asam na prewaso na saa nipa no wokan na wa monso muntie ne wa
ya be hia se krontire abusua ana ya hia na ya hia mu no ade a eda so poten se ede na mfirangom ba si kronti hina ba ye se eno ana ya hawa me e frame opani Kofi Nsia me ne ma ya abusua panini e wo krontire abusua no ana ma frɛ se omra na de a e wo me ma so no me nka na obia ntibi me di nkan no ye kronti hina a ye si no tu no odasoa eye kronti hina ayenye ntu no emfiri ade so ebinum nanam seba asi kronti hina e ba yese enye nokore
eno eye abusuan pani Kofi Nsia fatanta wonne kasa yi na wie na obenkura na nkasa ede bi ba beto se huhu ne de amanfo akeka na nso wono ana da so ye kronti hina e wo fatanta
Open crime that's what me continue. We ain't been to me. Nya dia etia dia na busuane se yatumia. Enka ya dia tia. Sisa me nema me me ma ye kwa baby. If you say me medi akonwa no na me obin dada. Badi assembly. Aye assembly man. For 12 years. Bedi mabeye party penin. Mabeye nyuma bebree ansana me bedi wo hene. Na nanom na ehye me boss me bedu amama bedi wo hene. Na mre ne du ye na mabedi continue. Me ba yen so dia me ye so mabusuani. Ejisa wo ya wo tincha na ase na gala o so ku besa abo Musagu kwa yebedi.
No. He. Opa ye ni pika fa bopem nyina ka ho. E de fragare na na bedi. Eno ho asem no. Na wie na krontra de shibusua ne mumma. Wo mo so de bi to so.
Kama kuyamwa ni sibia dane wo krontra busuam. Na ne ye pese de kan de se fenta hene. Onya ye busuani. Onya ye ye ne yakonjane. Nti ye pese akacha na fenta hene se. Onyina no mfiri atalotia akonja ho. Na nyano ne besi ya hene amane. Ya ne ye kuro ne. Ye pa ye betima si fenta hene. Nyano ne besi ya mai. Nti dia oya no omwa ye. Opese otete ya busuanum. Ya so ye mpentiti mu ye penka momum. Nti ne abekasa na fenta hene onyina no mfiri. Na ya ye nsi ya hene.
Mijina ha ma krontire abushia mene sister comfort chama na jina dodo na anim me ba bia ma se ho aya na nkwasiafo hema na wo bogini we ya na ma age osose nyame onto nkwam mini aba ma re na obenkwan fatanta kronti hena na fatanta abushia krontire abushia ye pana na asem yie sanya wuo ne bete krontire abushia m afiri na ho a bibia nkyere se na ohimim se akonwa no onni odini nne adi ne kyena adi na adekye ya ta na kyiso te safu na nsuo ne aba no ana ba hwanchancha
piao ne wakasa twatwe na nankwasa yafo hema no me boss ya de waka ni se abamu anya me nto nkwam wei ebre confidenta west ho ene ekoyi
ane ya free west ho na yamra greater no mu ha ewankran na atiefo bekan ya ya tiesi na watwi mu ensem a efri na no dwada ebesi nu afie edi atwaguo ewo man Ghana mu no ebi ne yeboso sande ma we na no dwada no ene de beto wanim se presifo ahyase titru paane wonu mo pese di presi ewo man Ghana mu no wo mo ahyase ma wo mo ye body selection ni documentations no a enti won papers no a wo de to online so no sanfa bra ne hwese ye no kra no na no asodafo no ye ya wonu mu za ba antie bi de ende se na ne mi enye dada kra yi kankan fit ni bia ena wo de ko ya asodafo no che no eno enti na presifo no so ahyase na no mu ena nkran ha wọ́n mú gúúsù ọmọ yẹn no a náà yẹ centers ní bẹ́yẹ sẹ màkúmàkú edu mienu ẹnu wọn yẹ ẹwọ nkran ha nko a yẹ mú 6 centers deɛ na wọ́n mú gúúsù ọmọ yẹ adwuma sẹ birika yà ẹkọ so paa na no ẹni yẹ bọwura mu nìyẹn ní wọ́n mu a yẹ from brọfo kasa applicant no wọ́n mu bẹ́sẹ̀ di prosi no yẹ ne baako kasa ayẹ máa wọ́n kyerɛ sẹ́ni adwuma deɛ ne kɔ ɛwɔ hɔ kyerɛ yẹn sẹ́yìn.
Initially, we all know the tragedy that happened with the military one. So initially, I was kind of skeptical about how the whole thing is going to be. When I got here, I realized, things were moving so fast as I was expected. Yeah, so like we're all going like some badges, and like the queue was going fast. So far, the process has been so.
Na we yepe, ana yaba modern process penifo so abo nkomo. Na wenu ye bunu mantamu ho ene yekoye na ye wie nkran de no enu nti yakọ bunu mantamu ene pania wane amansan bon komo ade ema process adwumakuo no ewo bunu mantamu no mu ho no eye chief inspector Thomas Akila na wane nya kwa mbro no ma ene na naji Apam bo mo ena na nam na wo ne bonko no musa na bromanta mu de no so kwasan
and none of pay and they share the second phase of the recruitment exercise. Na yes, you have one cartem, na ya yedi friend body selection, and none of pay na Jumedi, ya chili, the bar no pa, the super area after 12 o'clock. And say, applicants now, Bama, Yaku, Momoko, as Abraham Lucas say, Yakini Pabaya 389 applicants are, or my buyer, the problem. Na bias we do me wega esika no said the area mom kesi afi so ye mom adidi e friend snacks ensu and a drink said the be mo de be do kuma no matter no fa process ni na kama na olibia ens omo fie so ye be kwan so omo ba omo nya ne sa amaye
wo mo nya ne sa amaye we aye chief inspector Thomas Akila wono ena ya bromantam no pani a wone amansan bon komode ma process adwumaku no na no dwoda wone nya kwa bro no ma ene na najman pambo wo mo na bon komo ya wo mo so toma ne ye won kran ha
abusia adwoda no ena panifo a wone mo hwe fisam ho ensam so wonom akache wo mo aye stakeholders meetings na ne nyina ne se December busumi ni mo no panifo de ohye eto hwanum wan wo mu kire mu se mu asabio mu yusu small arms and light weapons no sabi Saudi anon krata sembi ani wana de aba ni ayan krata kama ne de amawo na wa mo de bre eto ho na empanimfo stakeholders meeting no wanum hia mu e Ghana Airport Company Limited na afi airport security agencies na dwumadie na se no na opani abedi akira wono wo hwe interior ministry no eso ononyafo Ebenezer oklete telabi wakasa na wo kire mu se wamu ka bie wom ene panimfo adi nkomo bebere akwasi ase entinka na January busumi aye wom ya ne da na etoso edunum ene ka deadline no eso esansa wamu atia de hia asem omo kenti wane mo atomu kakra
means critical national intervention aimed at reducing the proliferation of illicit arms in our communities, prevent their misuse, and promote a safer Ghana for all of us. This goal cannot be achieved by government alone. It requires the cooperation of institutions such as yours and the trust and participation of the public. We are aware of the growing public interest and stakeholder calls for the extension, as the CEO said, of the Ghana Amnesty Program. I wish to assure you that the Honorable Minister of Interior is giving careful consideration to these calls. This reflects government recognition of the realities on the ground and the need to ensure that no individual is denied the opportunity to comply with the law due to lack of time, information.
Osofo abedi akire ya wo hye efisam ho ensam so ewo maimo no nyafo Ebenezer o create telabi wono anana no dwada no de sansami etuja
afe yenwura ensam foforo mu na amanyo semu ne yewo kane pani kwankyerefo na woda Ghana National Petroleum Corporation GNPC ano wono akure ya sa senior campaign member edema Iraken akwampre kwa Japan Dr. KK Sapon wose ebinom ne namo kasa sa owura kan na Japan kra no onye presidential material eno obisa asem bisa hwan ne ye wo no sa president na de na chasa papa no wontimi meye president onya adaje e kirekire mu sei wei e yadwada no
sa bibili de hwan ne ye wo no sa president me ye wo me ana menwunu kantam me krom bi posoro na mnim se me koso hwan ne ntimi ni president sa ne kra ye so di 30 years ya dwunu obetuma be di president it no kra de me na nya de a ha me ne we ka so ne kasanye na otu me medi watem wa be di matem e depend on how mo treat ni pe bi obi o kasa no kra mu ntie na ma de si ba bi ko funny tips no so akasa ba bebre ni na make us say gumi fi now bo hwe contest many of the times no defend the party na obi a style different
eno Dr. KK Sapon kan GMPC CEO na wote se wo kasa fa Iraq na Japan ho se de wo ka bia no kre
eno ye dwoda na benada no ye bebo wo kase bi na bokotodwem pa ni nyina ya ngomasuan komo na pani a wono ye executive director edema Africa Education Watch at Edu Watch no me nua Kofi Asare na no wo baba na ye bi se afimpinu ene adionunum na wosanka aban wo fa desuafo wo kwa de yi akyerɛkyerɛfo no be se apem empim 15,000 enso ba akokora wa mfa na say wo keka bomu a ye wo classrooms be say empim miensa 3,000 ya wonum nyina gu ho a besinne we kura de say empim aduasampo 30,000 classrooms ai wo ho a ni nyina ye empty teacher ni wine kura na ebinim no wane so mpaka se eche ni say
in 2025 the government did not recruit new teachers, and the impact is that there are about 30,000 empty classrooms without teachers, impacting negatively on out-of-school children. In-school children are dropping out in many schools, as evidenced in our out-of-school census report in the northern region. So there are about 30,000 classrooms without teachers, basic, not schools, classrooms. And so every year we need about 15,000 teachers to maintain equilibrium. Equilibrium means that to cover for inefficiency in teacher distribution and also atone for annual attrition. There was a deficit, exactly. That's for basic school, not teachers for tertiary, just basic. So the government must focus on deploying teachers to the areas they are needed. That is the first thing. Not just posting teachers. Posting them to the schools where they are needed. That's the first thing.
We yera ko fia sare. Na wo we kura no eno ase o. E was afia e wo mu yi. Abayan fa kura so fa chechire for be say 30,000. Enso ya te kura so wo yi bi no adi. Eno achi incentives bi asa aban de ma wo no mu a na anu abaya ya wa pa east ya. Was in Yamia didn't have say auditors here in free payrolls. One incentive as I buy them out, buy and farmer one. I buy farmer one, no one children.
The second thing the government must do is that the government promised that it's going to implement a policy where teachers that are set posting to deprived areas will be given an allowance. I think it's a 20% allowance, deprived area allowance. We are in year 2. Such incentives must go with deploying teachers to those areas. Other than that, you will deploy 30,000, but they won't go to Tatale Sangoli. They won't go to Afram Place. And so that 20% deprived area allowance is critical for implementation in 2028. The final one I want to talk about is supervision of teachers. We are talking about WASI, we are talking about Bitmise, everything. It starts and ends with the efficiency with which teachers deliver, given the resources available. We want to see government focus more on ensuring that we improve the quality of teacher supervision, teaching delivery, and learning in our secondary schools, especially, and in our basic schools.
And one was on a brofo, wisi, Eddie Aguano. One more cut to anime. And some from Muka so at the moment was one, and also my also they as well as I'm crying in the diacon. Where you go, Fiasari, Edu watch penny pa and your tin can.
Ebusia da switch the mo awa ngomesia ensemo na binada no ebeto just said National Council for Curriculum and Assessment ye twa wonti ya efra wanom naka adwumakwei ehye adekyerefo a wanom ewo wo schools ahodo anyina mu se bibia wam de bepie mo ewo SHS ahodo mu eno no eye book bi ye hard copy wanom kyeremu se eye SHS Physical Education and Health na almost say Sabuku no bibi wo mu a eye gender identity eno no manual no wo mu kyerem said nensa aka sabuku ni bi no tempestuously one family na opani a wono okasa eye naka one board chairman Professor Vincent Asanfo wono ena den semituja
we did it in the review process, you know. Now, you flag that definition. How it went through the process, unfortunately, we could teach us one more the child, you know. Something we can talk about. But Yamisha, Akoya better there, yes, Sakremo curriculum. And you know, in the process, you know, it will be done. I have instructed my Director General that they should issue a statement to clarify and to make the point that bit, and in fact, it is not only that bit, the whole section, you know, that definition of terms, you know, I just went through before your call came for the interview. I think we'll have to have a second look at that whole definition of terms section.
Openi okasa ye naka one board chairman Professor Vincent Asanfo wono anano brada no ena odi sankomwe
na brada no a ma di no mu no ena Professor Kwamina Obrempong Abakay kane environment science technology and innovation so afa na wohweso wo yeso no ba wo beka se wono a watena se ahwebribi so no na ewo ho sese no nya so ndada na wo munim no we ye krani nti obeka ni prince was no fake ene sa NPP a e wo sese brada no na professor e kan sa asemi.
The present MPP is not MPP, it's fake. What I see now, it is not the MPP I used to know. Not the fake one. The real one is there. It's a virtual thing, and the members are there in the background. Look at how they elected their last flag bearer. Twist the arms of weak, twist people's arms, bribing delegates and intimidating others to get a flag bearer. This is a beginning of corruption, and this should not be allowed in any serious situation or any serious party. And there were issues. We lost the elections badly, and we did not deal with the issues that led to the losses. And then we still want to go in there, and I think it would be a train wreck.
And here, Professor Kwamna from Pomboatia. Doctor Winima Kumum, and I wet me a Sonoma Kumum who said, was one of what say no, a fake, dear Winimno, and what I say a virtual members no.
Na no ukwadamu, and I ye urei. Ye free brother, ye ukwada. Na nanu ukwadano. Government Accountability Series as Anna Nipa Wakasa de Magana Mampani. When a young for scratch for su, Wajina Simpiani and Pastor no say, Adiabia, what if the bank is able by one in Yahoo? Sir, a Bob has a no me, economy and Sabre no de Quanunano. O Accra Central, now quite have a crack higher than a pa. Na Abaya Hunu, what can I say, Edifa home?
Is that there are some transport operators who are engaging in rent-seeking behavior. Because ordinarily, transportation is a largely private sector-driven activity in Ghana. For some reason, after the persistent reduction in fuel prices, there are some operators within the system who thought that they could engage in rent-seeking behavior by creating artificial. Now, some of these operators do not go to the designated spots. They roam in the hope that shortage that is created will compel commuters to part with more money than they should ordinarily pay. They are creating scarcity to drive up prices so that they can engage in rent-seeking behavior. It is unlawful activity, and it must be looked at. Government in
Etiamra, entiasi ehwani kan ye pa. Wo wi ekura no, eno ase na no awone ba yi. Wo mo amfa ministers osono ministers ni bi. Sansa na no de bi ana ho no de. No mi obolo atela pa na nso adwuma pa friends adwuma wo mo anye bi. Eno mo san bo wo man ne ka. Wo mde on ba yi. Eya ketewesew.
Somebody say that presidential staffers acted as deputy ministers. No, they are not. In terms of entitlements, they are equivalent to ministers, presidential staffers. They don't function as ministers. But in terms of what they earn and the package that goes with their office, they are equivalent to ministers. Presidential aides are equivalent to deputy ministers in terms of their service conditions. And then there are political staff who are staff of these staffers. So if you put all of that together, there was a point that we had about 361 under President Akufo-Addo. I think about 41 staffers or so. So the fact and reality now is that we have fewer people in government now than we did under the previous administration.
We onamnya for Felix kwachi ofosu wono kasa de mama mpani ne yete ye no
ebusia wo nakafo ensensem na mu no opani a wono oyamrahye bedwani e de ma adehia wonom ewa Asen South Abaton Besua so Reverend John Ntimfojo yenyina anim se opani eba no private member bill ekopie mu ewa mrahye bedwafia no odimu akotene pa ya na fa LGBTQI+ wonsensem no entine sa nakafo ensem ye ba ye ya wonom kire mu se gender de ekopie mu ewa chechefo Emmanuel mu a na wo mo kire mu nsa na ni kwan se wo mo di hye mu ansampo no nke be kosa no na wasan company fo atena sisi ni koso na anu mu no wo kire na adwen e wo ho sei kame ansa director general Edema Naka adwumako no Professor Samuel Ofori obisa Bekwen kame ansa oda adwuma ne so asade wo mo hia ya wo anu di hu komo no wo ma na ni anko hu yie enti no ono ononyamfo Ntimfo dodo hu se owura no wa fedi se poto enti nke be ya yenyi ni ho.
Professor Bekwen must be resigning by now. If we are in a serious country, you cannot print such manuals and distribute them to schools. And NACA, the agency mandated to be the safeguard, the gatekeeper, to ensure that every content going into the classroom are wholesome and aligned with our values, our culture, our laws. And then you review such teacher manual, you approve them, you print them with taxpayers' money, distribute them. You are saying it's optional. If it is optional, will you expend taxpayers' money to print thousands of copies to distribute? And then and to be the pedagogical guide, the fundamental reference to delivering instruction to students.
kasa ye mrashe bedwani di ma adehia wan mu asen south abaton pesua so ononyafo John intim fajo ena na ukwada no ena odi sankomoi
na no ukwada kro na no ye wie ya na yewura ya wadam ya wadano mu no ena Sompa 106.5 FM Accra yempanimfo ebo anan na wonko pm wo isi adwuma ko no wo maboboa no na edu baabia sada ya na nkanea no enyina ne na so ho a na adum fon edu baabia na aso ho a na baabi fo de aso na baabi de adum ema bi kura to wo mu din se ifon ege ene ade wo mo ko ho ene mpanimfo kokodidi nkomo na enkomobo no mu ena engineer menso so wa wonya adaje ebie nsamaniwa ade kire mpanimfo wo mu free Sompa 106.5 FM Accra ma me akosu ago aboaje akosu enhira yewura kunan marketing manager afe wobapa krane wono eneye administrator frena ketesia wo mu nyina ekobi enti engineer sowa ene nya adaje pa ebiebie ensamso mensa kanedi ho ede kire ye mpanimfo yi
goes to the station at night or any time of the day, like or something, just put the section of the area of, then the same person will be changing faces for people at the field. So just yesterday, we have to arrest them and send them to the police station. These are some of the issues now. Another challenge is we have a lot of flaws in the system, fraudsters. Yeah, no engaged people. I think that as for fraud, mobile police now widespread. So we are also getting some where people will just try to. Well, are you recording us?
Eno engineer so wa ne nchen ena nkomoi efiri bae afi ya tiasi mu awo ya wadanu mu na ensemu a edi atwago ya wadanu nso no ya dane ya kire kama ede amawo na ya wadanu ena na kai ho nsemu a akwa atwe wo manga na mu a ya ka yanka nwie da no ya ba modin ya twetwe nhoma no akokopie metro masefo wo no mu akache na ya kwayo no yene pani ba ko a wono wodini dwuma ewo ho wono kura mpo na yakasama afo sabre ede ma metro ma sadwuma ko no mubarak watara yene ne bon ko ne ebusa se na esiden pa na mu basisi wo ho na enka hatitru ni kumase wono ma so to basisi.
It's true. I can confirm that the minister met with Metromat and our sister companies to make sure that we make some buses available for the rush hours. And Metromat, we are able to do that, even though at the moment our fleet of buses are very low, but we've been able to adjust to what the minister directed. So what we did is we are able to, at the time that we close, we've changed the time that we close. And mostly, Metromat, we do intracity. Intracity, that is what Metromat normally do. So what we have to do is that we have to increase some of the routes, not all, because of the lack of fleet of buses, the low of fleet of buses that we are having.
Enti na we no bukare ni pe onunyafo ya akobadi ensam so wadi kan ka tell metro mass for say wo munyi buses ni bimra eno na no aka say is true. I can confirm no na wo wie ye no wo kire ba bia buses no won bedi omdwuma.
At the moment, what we do is that from Adenta to Accra to Adenta, we are using the EV buses. So we only have 10 EV buses, and all has been working through Accra to Adenta from 4:30 p.m. to even after 8 p.m. Our EV buses is working through that route. Then we have Kaneshi to Kaswa. We've now even increased a station, another one in our yard for Kaswa. Mostly it was at the Kaneshi terminal. Now we've added another one at the head office, the main head office yard from Kaneshi to Kaswa. Then we have from Circle to Amasamai and Nkoko area too. We've also added another. Now we reduce the buses that goes to Kumasi and Cape Coast because of what intracity.
Penia wonia mansan edin kita ho edema Metro Mass Transit MMT Mubarak Watara wona Sompa ka se ne bon komo a wo cheche ba buses ne befa no
Ebusia ya wada no ane egusu a ye gina mu na ya wada no na Owura Frank Davis wano oyo openia ebano onenyanfo Kenneth kuntunkununku ofori yata enkane wo men yesa na hene yes say wakopiemu obi man so a icefuei ekwafa anu a na ekura de esi yenhyade hu ba bi a wo masanso de na kopiemu de ekeka hu ye Wabua edi ninsem ni bi edi amano na Owura Frank Davis ena no yawada no di tu dwa se onenyanfo Samuel kujeto abra kwa waya de ama ne ho adri ni papa wase ewa abra oswani eba amonten ebeka se onenyanfo Kenneth kuntunkunuku ofori yata ene enkane Maslock maame Sedina Tamakro atienu wanu mo chiri a US mpanimfo achiri wonu no wamo ebetumi aboa pa me yade wamo bagana ha hwi santan na wanu mo charge se ene wamo ansam a yebisebisa wamo matumi aba betwa so de obetwa ne sentence betwa de oba ansa 78 questions so be ansa enumu ana Owura Frank Davis say die ononyafo Samuel Kujeto abra kwaka ye no wase Ghana ye mensa extradition wanum US for de ne ye menhu ba bia na nkedi kan kora no ononyafo Samuel Kujeto abra kwakora no nkeni kwan so obe make sa comment no ewa abonten Owura Frank Davis nsemni.
Generally, no extradition requires the involvement of the country where the person is located. That is the requested state, as it were. And here is why. There are sovereignty issues. Okay, a country has jurisdiction over people and territory within its borders. So any person of interest, suspect or accused person could be picked up. Now, extradition usually follows treaties and agreements between countries, and that has to do with international law. There's also due process. The requested state needs to verify the request and ensure that it meets or conforms with legal standards. So this is what the foreign minister has to understand. So the mere fact that the American ambassador said they will not stand in the way of Ghana, it means that the ambassador is cognizant of the fact that
Owura Frank Davis openia ebano se ononyafo Kenneth kuntunkununku ofori yata empanimfo a yantwitwa enye no wo mra kwan so a ono Frank Davis no oka ho enda na no yawada no odi sansemi etuja
na yawada no mu no na yewura fo amoni wakasa hadi free ukwada na babewura yawada se Constitutional Review Committee wo mo frefre na wo madi nkomo titru ene LGBTQ+ ne ne eka ho no wo mo amfre won wo mo anya adaje bo ho dawuro ene ade enti wo mo se nyansa kwan bia wo mo de fa mfikyire ho e de ababewura enwumasuam enti na ekosa eno wo kan ni sei
ena saa sira dai ti se de bi ne bema ne obade o na bema de it means it is an abnormality enti wo de se constitution mo se na ye any surgeries bia e be try se be normalize no e dey understand it because you onipa da se ni be wiase mu all the medical evidence is clear so or your bema or your ba your chromosomal markings no kire genetical markings no kire in fact bone structure which be what ni no so who change na o transgender trans whatever now da bones no it is either male or female.
Owura famoni ene kasa ye we lead advocate at my LGBTQ+ no eno so ne yegina ne yada ye hutia waba ye ba pe ye ba betwa kase ne ti e wo fie dem
medo edrano pa wutimi to wo boase etwitwiwusi o ado na so ni se mede yas toothpaste and the brush and the twitwi mesima menya homka senti na ye bokoi na medie me all time favorite yas herbal toothpaste and the brush aboa me amasesei menum so a enwunu anasa de ehia meselfimfem me biem na wo hwasa mesi ayefita sesrecha homa na et brightens yas whitening toothpaste and then the brush and then me do shimisi enti na wo se afei na yas total care gel toothpaste and then the brush ni de ebo wo se ho ban demu ni nyina ema wonum ye sham oh yes enu kretrodo yas herbal yas whitening and the yas total care gel toothpaste and then the brush abusuan chamfa
se wo pedudu tu e won kran ha for Leicester Ghana Limited and was 050-161-9588
Leicester Ghana Limited and the yas toothpaste mo ahodo and the brush abadwa so abeboye.
aketuapa
nokure ema aketuapa afe yewura no afie emu nsam a eba ye no emu ahweye ahwe akobadie nsam so ana wonom ne afisam aso ye no ana local government ne nyina wo mu kohyehyia adabafo na mampani abedi akire her excellency professor na Jane Opoku Agyeman ne watimu bie ne nyina ye se akobadie ho nsam ebetimi akwankan pa na wo mu free meeting no ase wie ye pe ana professor na Jane Opoku Agyeman wato nsam ane so mpase.
Recently, we have received all the reports about the stresses that commuters are facing, especially during rush hours in the morning and worse in the evening. I saw one, and sometimes the problem is caused by all kinds of situations, including even exploitation by some of our own drivers.
Now, where you are, and was it one of the bus for Froba? Yeah, not the Ampania can once more. Ghana for, yeah, more buses, no buy.
I know the ministers are playing their roles. I know the management is playing their role. And so are all of you. And especially the people who depend on our work, the commuters. Government is willing to play its role, to retool Metromans, to supply even more buses. And as time goes on, yes, 10 years is a long time. But we also know we live in a country where even vehicles that are older are functioning. Let us take good care of property that comes from the government, because
we are Vice President, Her Excellency Professor Jane Opoku Agyeman.
Said the Abaya Ayafo ya wambe piemu ayasabia brene brano no wanom efri moja muanasi wamushotu moja wambenya bienti kwafo anochi teaching hospital enra adokota for any nurse for adwuma for ho wamu nyina aka wamu tam asiani se twe edonate blood ni bi ade sumo emeboai doctor Kwadwo Saben wani amani boni kwa mi redu disanse mi munkomo
de mekandi kaine se emuja ya dia bibia possible ni etumi ba yenye bibia etumi ye muja na yedumedi di wo hospital ha se ni ba ya ya yesum na ye heno muja no edimu apotini efise se muja tu bi dise nipa ene mamuja yebitumi ni esi anamu nti ye wo ye specialized unit a ye friend transfusion medicine unit e hono nipa e wo hono ye staff no nyumo mudia ne se omo hwe se time bia no ye wo muja wo hono ma so bi hia bia yebitumi di bia ma
Dr. Kwadwo Saben aya dokutani ewo konfo anochi teaching hospital abaya sabia no ewa Asante Manta Mukumase eno omu donate moja ema adehye akwatwetwe bi free ewie ma omomre kimilo eni nkalo waka ho ayamani boni kwame redu enra efie wode nsemi esomye
enra fie na ayamani bofo na ntena esanse na no Oponchecheku international national reporter honorable na woni ewra IGP mu nenam na afi Obapa Grace Ashley ya wabonyom na ewra IGP de de to so kire se abonefo a wo mo man mu no wo ma yesa wo maganafo enya haban papa bi ntenwe no wo mo di wachi wo beso safo ni nyina apanchi.
If you are watching your TV, you have to go to the this deserves more awards, and especially as we are preparing for another World Cup, so that she will come out with something again. Today, I assure you, you cannot bribe the policeman anymore.
Eno yewura IGP era Christian Tete Yohunu na wie na Obapa Grace Ashley na nyoma wo boy no de wo kan say aposifo titru Ghana aposifo ye bom abaso.
Are you happy to be here this evening? And are you appreciating yourself as police? I want you to know that we love you. We appreciate your efforts. And we will continue to appreciate your efforts. DJ, let them hear the song.
No. Enyom no. Ena wate no.
Eno ana nana kwa mwaboaten. Wadi Blekuma Central, wadi abai, was the dear NPP delegate. We have 14 days to elect Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia presidential candidate. Na monyine moho, na monyane ntentempa. Na Montwabano Enfamano. Very special greetings. Enkoma adwenkese John Boadu. Na na kwa mwaboaten Blekuma Central. The message odeba enie. Comment say platoon so did the same message. I say 14 days more. It is possible for Bawumia to lead us to victory 2028. Kudos to Haji Asafia Mohammed. Ne dia ya wode aba enso enono. Na we ne dem se no ana wasan e de abai we so na ye gina na Ghana this week yeah de som wo no ye de nyina e de asie Leicester Company Limited na dawroma anu wo so ya sene ma ye de bre wo bra na onga mama's open hand ebo ye chidom